two city leaders wanting to do two things. And what I mean by city leader, by the way, is someone in a public or private role or a civic actor, okay, but a leader. Number one, accelerate progress towards net zero. And number two, accelerate trust in their city. What would your advice, your top three parcels of advice be for the leader wanting to accelerate progress towards net zero? And secondly, what would your three parcels of advice be for the leader wanting to accelerate trust in their city?
We are fortunately at a point where we don't have to choose to do one or the other. Actually, if you are smart about it, you are forced to do the two of them at the same time. So there is no way of separating them. And the way you accelerate things is by inviting participation, about crowdsourcing ideas and perhaps even the implementation by, what conventionally is thought out as thinking outside the box. And then, really trying to see how that matches the status quo, because, in some places, not everywhere, but in most places on Earth, there is a balance and things work. The reason why the entire planet is not at war and complete anarchy is because, things work somehow. But in most places, that balance is unfair. That balance that makes things work is unfair. There's preponderant players that are benefiting from the status quo much more than others, others that are suffering from it. And while they still are able to put food on the table, this is unfair, and it's ending their lives in a way, So we need to, without altering the balance, we just need to make the balance more fair at the end of the day. So the trick is there, man. How do you actually, without altering this balance that keeps the world going and together, how do you make it fair for every single person? Well, you need to invite to the table both the one that has been victimized and the one that is the preponderant player, and you need to bring them to the table, and you need to convince them that it's in the best interest to work together towards the same future, because balance has to be the most important thing for everybody. And for the balance to be maintained, you need to make it fair. And you can convince the person, the preponderant player, you need to convince them that this balance is not going to stay like that forever. Something's got to give. And you need to tell somebody else, this doesn't have to be the future. This only needs to be the past. So what if we were to build this together? So that's the way you take them, forward. So that's what I would advise. I know that is a strange analogy or metaphor, but I think that's what it is. You need to understand why it works, why it is unfair. You need to understand the role of everybody in this, and then you need to bring everybody to the table to make it work.